Hi, I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy Editor of The Banker, and I'm joined by Melissa Gargagliano, Head of Commercial Cards for Global Transaction Services, EMEA, at Bank of America Merrill Lynch, to discuss the changing nature of the commercial cards business. Mel, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you tell me a little bit of sort of the global trends that are impacting the evolution of commercial cards?
Sure, absolutely. One of the things that I find most interesting is a lot of companies are really looking at their travel policies. They can adapt it to perhaps new entrants into the market for transportation or accommodation like Airbnb or Uber, right? Really changing their policies to allow for that technology and that type of supplier to be considered as part of their policy. Another thing is a term that we like to use called leisure, where people are really looking to travel for business but wrap in leisure as well. Benefits associated for that are really lower costs associated. Sometimes when you wrap in a weekend stay, the airplane cost comes down. So it's really looking at changes in what people are looking to do and how they travel, or the tools they use to travel, and really altering their policies. And that's great for issuers like ourselves because it's just different ways that they can use our solutions to ensure that their employees have the ability to pay for those solutions. Another thing that is really shaping up is virtual payments and transactions, and really looking at paying suppliers, benefiting from working capital, but also using virtual credit card solutions to do so.
Okay, and there's a lot of talk about disruptive technologies coming into play. How is some of those technologies affecting the commercial cards business?
Sure. When you think about commercial card usage, a lot of what our clients want tends to follow what their employees are using as part of their personal life. So if you think about mobile wallet, or you think about the ability to pay via contactless, etc., that tends to influence our market as well. Another thing is alerts. So when you really think about it, traditionally you'd get your statement in, you'd file your expenses, you'd settle, but people want more real-time information now. So we've introduced alerts and messaging to really keep, whether it be the employee, when they're traveling, and alerts on maybe charges that are abnormal, or you're getting close to your credit limit, or the program administrators alerts associated to their employees, making sure that information is real time and they have that in the palm of their hand as they're out and traveling or out doing business. That free-flowing communication really adapts to their lifestyle. They're not sitting behind the desk pulling up their statement. They're out and about, need to have that information.
Okay, and there's been a lot of talk around virtual card usage. How does that really help, let's say, a European corporate treasurer manage their working capital better?
Sure. So when you really think about it, there's working capital is a top benefit, but there's many other benefits to consider as well. So when you think about it, if you pay one of your suppliers with a virtual card, a couple of things are going to happen. Obviously, you're going to look at being able to increase the working capital benefit. You've paid your supplier sooner. You don't need to pay us for upwards of 55 days. So you've got that benefit, but then also you have the benefit of the technology tying your reconciliation data into the process. So when you think about perhaps paying them with a traditional ACH payment, there's only so much information that can pass, but with a virtual card, there's quite amount of information that you can pass. So when you think about sending that payment, you're actually pushing the information, whether it be cost center, project information, whatever you want to help you reconcile on the back end, along with the transaction through and then back end. It also helps the supplier because the supplier has information that they can reference, and if they're getting a payment for multiple invoices, they don't have to guess what it's for. It's all contained with the payment. So you've got the working capital benefit. They pay sooner. They don't have to pay us until later. But then you've also got the benefit of the information. The last benefit we like to talk about with regard to that is simplifying their processes and integrating with their systems and their ERP systems to really embed and pull that through the process. So there's quite a few benefits, and that's why you see more and more of the talk, as you mentioned earlier, around people looking to virtual solutions.
Okay. And is there any specific areas that maybe the virtual cards are more useful or can bring better benefits?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of definite trends. So if you think about meeting and events, meeting events, paying for your conference room, the vendors associated with that. Also, with regard to your typical, we've got to buy paper and office supplies, etc. And then also if you think about transportation. So there are really a lot of the suppliers that are very naturally already take credit card. Why not put it through this particular process? But then you also have in the construction industry, we're seeing an uptick. There's quite a bit of expansion into many different ways to pay. And one of the benefits is if a corporation is really unsure, consulting to really understand, okay, let's take a look at the AP file and where are the benefits, what are the suppliers that would take a payment, and then really understanding the size of the prize associated with it.
So the payments industry is going through a big change with the Payment Services Directive 2 being implemented at the moment. How is that sort of the opening up of application programming interfaces? How will that change the commercial cards business?
So I had talked earlier about virtual cards and really streamlining processes and efficiencies. I see it very representative here as well. It's going to really allow us to integrate more with the APIs and really fast track solutions to our clients. So we see it as a definite opportunity to really just save time, and that's what everyone really wants to receive now is time back, but also efficiencies and streamlining processes.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming in today,
Sure.
Mel.
No problem. Thank you.